Good evening and welcome to Pin TV Live at the Albert Shed, brought to you by Markov.
Nice one. So as you can see, Stu has shrunk, or possibly he's not here. I think tonight he's having his teeth sharpened. Just a thing he has done every year. So there's myself, Jim Buchanan. Then we have, what's your name, son?
Todd Buchanan.
Todd Buchanan.
Better looking than my father.
Yeah,
You are.
I can't deny that. You're a good-looking lad. Also very modest. And then over here we have Doc at the helm and our guest who is about to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Alan Milway.
And Alan Milway, for those who don't know it, is one of the country's top mountain bike and motocross coaches.
Well, I coach motocross as well as mountain bikes, so
Yeah.
I'm working those two sports.
We have had Alan on before, so check out one of our previous live shows from, when would that have been, Doc? It's probably 6 months ago?
It's in the winter, wasn't it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of your background on that show, so if you wanted to check out a little bit more about him, have a look on there. But for now, we will get this interview underway. Would you like to start it off, Todd?
Okay then, how is business at the moment?
How is business? Very good. Yeah, been keeping busy. Busy time of year with everyone racing. So if they're away, sometimes I'm away with the racers. Otherwise, it's getting them back into tip-top shape before the next race. So
Brilliant.
yeah, all good.
And so how's your season so far? How's it been with your riders? Who's done what?
Who's done what? Okay, so it's been pretty mixed, if I'm honest, which is as every year. You get some riders who, like Joe Breeden's having an absolutely amazing season.
Yeah.
He was second this weekend. I think he's still leading the BDS, or he's joint with Matt. He's having a great World Cup. Joe Wooten, who you know,
Yes,
having
I know
an amazing
Joe
season.
Wooten,
He's just
yeah.
gone out to the ISDE today, the 6th
Yeah.
Enduro. Brendan's had a mixed season. There's a lot of things that haven't quite clicked.
Yeah.
Like split times have been good, practice has been good, time practice has been good, and then he's had a few wheel troubles and punctures and this, that, and the other, so that's been frustrating. And then I've had quite a few injuries to deal with. ACLs.
Yeah.
One of my motocross lads broke his back last weekend.
Bad break?
No spinal cord damage, so he's up and walking, so that's good. But he's off the bike for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things are just part and parcel of it, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't think you're ever going to have a season where everyone wins everything. There's no problems. There's always going to be challenges. That's part of the job. Yeah.
So just to remind people, viewers out there, how many previous and how many current world champions do you have on the books, or have you had as well?
I'll coach 6.
6.
Yeah, 6 world champions. So.
And how many weren't world champions before they came to you? None of them. No one.
Danny and Manon were world champions.
Yeah.
Rachel was, and G won a world champs? Yes, he had one.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, good mix.
Yeah.
Pretty good mix, and a fair few podium, like Martin Mays, bronze medal. I've had some national champions.
Martin,
yeah, good old Martin.
Certainly a good CV then.
Yeah, Tracy was coach was a bronze.
Tracy Mosley.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Crikey.
Yeah, so I've worked with a few guys and girls.
So the next is the big question. Do you want to ask it, Todd?
Yeah. So about Manon retiring, have you got any inside info you can tell us?
Well, the thing with Manon is she's very honest. So pretty much what she said is what's gone down, really. She's had a couple of pretty bad crashes.
Yeah.
And although she was she worked really hard to get fit and strong this year. You could see it in her riding, she was tentative and it was frustrating. She felt as though, the way she described it to me, that was a really good way of putting it, she felt as though like she just had like a rev limiter on. She felt as though there was that rev limiter and it wasn't letting her push, and she didn't want to find that ragged edge. And we worked quite hard to try and get comfortable on the bike, tried loads of different things. I had loads of suggestions, and she worked really hard with the mechanics, trying to set the bike up so she felt comfortable, and went both directions with that, really. And then I just don't think she was willing to push it. And she knew that, and she wasn't happy at all. It was very frustrating for her. We had a couple of, like, I don't want to go into too much detail, but we had quite a few discussions about, you know, possibilities and how she was feeling. And I think, Canada was the straw that broke the camel's back, really.
Yeah, I think it's weird, isn't it? Because as sort of people are watching in and looking at it, and you see these guys who are at the top of their game, guys and girls, but you know what I mean, and you think, oh, what a life, it must be amazing. And then you think, when you hear that they're giving up, you think, well, it's mental, why would you give it up? But what you don't realise is, I can imagine, well, I don't know, but I can imagine the pressure. It must be immense at that level.
There's a lot of expectation. I think there was definitely a lot of expectation to move to the new team, and the team were brilliant. There was like, I was around the team quite a bit, and there was never any pressure, but I know that Manon wanted to deliver for them and felt as though she could, and I felt as though she could. And what was strange was Lords wasn't a great result, but then she went to Fort William International and she had a great battle with Tane and won at Fort William at the BDS against Tane, good competition. And I thought, right, here we go, you know, we're there now. But Fort William it's not really a technical course, you know what I mean? It's fast, and those guys and girls are used to going fast.
It's balls out.
It's balls out, but then when they put that new section in for the World Cup, did you go to Fort William? Did you see that section? Of course you were there. Did you see the section in the woods that I'm talking about, where you sort of entered it and it was boggy and rutty, and it
was very. Everyone was talking about should it have been in and this, that, and the other.
I was quite opinionated. I felt as though the actual rooty steep section wasn't the problem. It was coming into that. It's like a bog. So you had no speed, and then you had to
that
cross
big hole that grabbed everybody.
That's it, and that was sad to watch, really.
Yeah.
So these sorts of things, if you think about that hole that was grabbing everyone, you know, Manon's gonna, if she knows that's there, she's like, no, I'm not willing to, you know, possibly do a collarbone, or because that crash that she had at World Champs last year, that just bit her, didn't it? It was one of those.
That's right. So I'm just seeing if we got any comments here. I think we just got some hellos, good evenings, Lewis Bradley. Alright boys from Darcy, he's one of our filmmakers.
Thank you mate, Alex Kemp.
Looking good after the shave, Stu, from Lewis Bradley. Looking good there, Stu. You know what's happened to your voice?
Probably some invisible beard dye.
Yeah. Lots of traffic noise, Doc, apparently. Can you shut us those windows, please, my friend? There you go, that'll sort that one out.
And if you've got any questions,
just
drop
them over.
I'm happy to. I put a couple on my Instagram. I had a couple of questions come in on my Instagram. I can answer them whenever you want, whenever you want to talk training.
Anything to do with training, pre, during, after season training. Do you do like nutrition and all that sort of stuff? Or?
Yeah, nutrition's definitely part and parcel of it. One of the motocross boys I coach, he started to work really, really hard, but didn't look after himself in terms of what he was eating, and he got quite ill, and it was quite sad because when we sort of got on the same page, I was like, well, you're training twice a day, 3-4 times a week, and you're not putting the fuel back in your body, so it was no surprise. But I look after a lot of nutrition in terms of the programs, but you can only lead a horse to water. I can't sit there and cook someone their dinner. They've got to know what, you know, they know what they need to eat, but then they've got to get on and do it themselves.
Well, there's that old saying that you can't out-train a bad diet. And
yeah, exactly that.
So right.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big problem, and when people are travelling, they're not taking on enough. And I'm working with a guy who's had an ACL injury, and we spend a lot of time with each other, and a lot of that is discussing how much he should eat, because he's just not been eating enough, and now he's just absolutely shredded. He's training so much and eating the right foods. He's ripped now. It's brilliant.
Todd's like that. He always eats absolute perfect food, don't you, Todd? Never eat any sweet stuff or anything bad. No.
Never done that before.
What did you have for your tea tonight? Can't actually remember.
Just,
Don't let your dad give you grief.
just a massive salad.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
Good on him.
Got him well trained.
Good on him.
So, I think I'll let next question to you. Talk about the training.
Right. How after winter training? What about like mid-season and then after season training?
Okay, so I always go by the rule in my head that if I haven't got them fit and strong for the season to start, I'm going to really struggle to get them fit and strong because they're off travelling and racing. So the way I work is I try and get them as fit as strong and bike fit and ready to race as possible, and then I try and keep them there. Now that's easier said than done, and I try and get them in the gym whenever they're back, and I won't go into the boring technicals of it, but we lift at a specific percentage and we lift specific reps and we do specific things to keep the fitness. But if they've been away for 2 weeks, a lot of the time they just need to rest.
Yeah.
And they don't often want to do that. Like Brendan's a nightmare for resting. He'll come back and he'll have texted me, oh, I'm just about to get on the plane back at Heathrow tomorrow night, and then he'll have been home, he'll have been on his road bike with Ollie or out with his mates. I'm like, the guy just struggles to rest and chill out. So a lot of the time I'm telling him just to take some time.
Yeah. Joe Wotton. I want to talk a bit about Joe Wotton. Now, a lot of you won't know who Joe Wotton is because it's a different sport. It's enduro motorbikes.
Yeah.
But it shares a lot of similarities with biking. It's his brother who his brother Ben tests products for us, and he's now suddenly become a shredder on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
Real power. I mean, that family is like powerful beasts. They're almost freaks, aren't they? His dad's got hands the size of like these chairs. Yeah. And Joe, since you've brought him on in the motorbike enduro world, he's gone from sort of a good expert to proper.
Oh, he's winning
top,
the British Sprints.
Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting because he's a proper hard worker.
Yeah.
And does. It sounds boring, but he does everything I tell him to do.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes the hardest thing because sometimes people don't want to be coached or don't trust that I think I know better. But Joe's really good at that, and he's had a run of injuries.
Yeah, he's been unlucky.
Yeah, he's been unlucky. A couple of broken legs and a dislocated shoulder, and all of these things that we get on push, whether you've got an engine or not, unfortunately. But I've been really excited to see him because he's absolutely flat out.
And this is his big week now, isn't it?
Yeah, fingers crossed, Joe.
So he's gone to what is known in enduro world as the ISD, which is the International 6 Days of Enduro, and it is literally six flat out, massive long days, representing Great Britain for medals. Yeah, it's like the Olympics of enduro.
Yeah, it's the nearest thing we get, and the nearest thing they get to that sort of team competition. Yeah. It's like the motocross des nations, really, of enduro.
Yeah.
And we were on the phone just the other day talking diet, believe it or not. Yeah, literally all the prep to what he should be having before, during and after the riding, and how much should be taking on, and just trying to get all the, T's crossed and I's dotted, all those things. He's as fit as a butcher's dog. It's absolutely brilliant. Really good, really good.
So when would you get these guys, end of season, say they've all done the last race, your athletes, what's your advice to them? Rest up? When do they start training again?
I'm a big believer, especially with the juniors, of having some time off and going to be a teenager, go out and have some fun. I think it's really important.
You get them a pack of Bensons for the end of the season.
Pack of Bensons.
Straight on the line after the last race.
Yeah, a dozen Stella. Send them off to Spearmint Rhino. Go on, have some fun. I, in all honesty, I think it's really important because a lot of the guys give up every weekend for the whole season, and then I've seen some coaches bring guys in really early, and I'm like, I don't like the look of that, because if January comes around, and the kids are starting to lose it, they're gonna struggle a bit. I like to give people a good month off the bike, have some fun. The motocrossers are easier at doing that than mountain bikers, interestingly. The motocrossers will all go on holiday. Literally, they'll all finish the last Maxis, done. They're all off to Florida or Spain, or they'll just go and have let their hair down for a couple of weeks, and then they want to start riding the bikes again because the 18 bikes are out. Like Kawasaki's already got the 18 bike out and in the country and all the rest of it. But from the mountain bikers, I like to keep them off a downhill bike, go and have some fun, and then mid-November we start talking about plans, and I like to hit the ground running so that they've got a really good block up to Christmas. So Christmas is your sort of natural.
Because everyone lets their hair down.
Exactly. You can then give them a break, and they've earned that again, and then
yeah.
start up in January.
Right.
So.
Any questions, comments, Todd?
Yeah, we've got a question
There's
for
loads.
Alan, and it's from Stubo, and it's any quick tips for training when short on time.
That's the golden ticket, isn't
Yeah.
it? Training when short time. Yeah, I would lift heavy things because you don't need a lot of time to do that. You can be in and out of the gym in 40 minutes, I reckon, if you just do some really good work. So you can lift some heavy things for 40 minutes, and interval training is a really good way to do it as well. Some of my interval sessions, the guys will warm up 15 minutes, they work hard for 15 minutes, they cool down for 10 minutes.
Wow, that's short.
Yeah, but it's hard work, and that is a little bit out of context, because if you haven't got any base fitness, you will struggle to do that workload. But yeah, without rabbiting on, they're two really good ways of doing it. Lift heavy things, interval training.
Anything else, Todd?
Lewis Bradley has said, looking for training for next year for Enduro MTB, what should I look for qualifications / awards?
I think it's quite difficult in terms of qualifications and awards, because we've got some British cycling qualifications that you can get, but they're not really relevant from a fitness point of view. There's some. I'm a UK SCA accredited coach, and I don't know whether that means. In all honesty, I don't think that makes me a better coach.
Yeah.
So
I just put my hat on.
nice.
Just forgot I hadn't got it on.
Sandy, get on it.
Everyone who didn't know, I've got no hair. I know, you're really shocked. Yeah, I'm not 25. Carry on, sorry.
Yeah, I think I'd just do some research. See what they've got to say on their website, see what they've got to say on their social media, see if you like them and talk to them. Because at the end of the day, a coach needs to be able to communicate with the athlete. So if you don't get on with the coach, or the coach doesn't get on with you, it's not going to work.
Have you ever had any athletes that you couldn't get on with? Without naming names, unless you want to.
Yeah, I have.
Who was it?
No, I'm going to say.
Mountain biker.
No, I've had a motocross that's really difficult.
Really?
Yeah, really difficult.
Yeah.
He had a really good season. He had a really good season, but it was difficult.
Do you have to deal with the motocross dads?
Yeah.
They're annoying.
I had to before, but now I've got to the stage where I don't really care what they think of me.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, it can't work like this. I need to deal direct with the athlete.
Do you get motocross dads in mountain biking? Or is it not as bad?
I tell you what, I reckon if you ask me that question in 2 years' time, I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Because the thing is with mountain biking now, and you probably see it, I see it more and more. If you went to a motocross race, you've got nice transporters, big motorhomes, the bikes cost 6 to 8 grand, you've got loads of kit, there's quite a bit of money put into it. Mountain biking is getting that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not, when I was mountain biking, everyone was at the back of an estate car or a white van.
Well, Hard Rock, just gone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've never seen so many posh transporters and all the big Volkswagens done up with like 20 grand put into them, and it's like, wow, where have they had that?
And I think this is it. I think where those, I don't want to say those families because it sounds really patronising thing to say, oh, you've chosen to ride mountain bikes, but where people might have gone to motocross, I think they might be now choosing mountain bikes.
Yeah, I think in mountain biking, there's compared to motocross, you can be not as good to get better sponsorship than you would in motorbiking. Yeah, motocross you have to be really top of your game to get like free this, free that.
And otherwise you're paying for this to be on the team.
And in mountain biking, you know, you can be top 10 senior and you get a free bike off your bike shop.
Yeah, that's true. I think it is. I think it will change definitely. And I think with motocross, there's less tracks. The tracks cost. Well, I was going to say tracks cost 40 quid a day, 35 quid a day to ride, but then that's what an uplift is anyway. So it's all starting to be comparable, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So, you called him Stu then, so used to Stu being there. Todd, that's your name, isn't it? It's 10 to, so what time is it?
Time for the Saps Underwear Crash of the Week.
So, Doc will start running this now. Unfortunately, we get it a lot later, as I always tell the viewers, because we got quite a delay on there.
This has been sent in by Gary Millings.
No, Gary, yeah, used to race with him back in the day on Intense Rider.
So we're going to sit on this one.
Yeah, we'll see this a bit later than other people. So, looking where we're at now, I think, oh, here we go. So for this you get his pair of Saks underpants, boxers.
Ooh.
Dear, that's a lot of rocks to land on as well. Ouch. Yeah, I bet that hurt. That doesn't look like a nice thing to land on,
Oh,
does
he's
it?
crawling.
Yeah, he actually broke his collarbone.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, poor lad.
Good one. Oh yeah, proper injury then. So he will definitely need a pair of new pants for that, as seen behind Al here. The Saks underwear. Get in touch and we'll tell you how to get some. Basically, get it on the on our social media. No problem.
But what's the bum butter?
The bum butter is, you know, chamois cream that goes around the old meat and two veg in your bum area. Stops you getting sore. It's amazing. I'll tell you what, I've been using that stuff for about ever since we met him, wasn't it? About how long ago was that? That was a bike show last year.
Yeah, February.
And never get a sore bum on my bike anymore. Honestly, now it works. There's no
I might
denying
take
it.
a pie home with me.
Yes, no problem. I'm sure he won't mind that.
We've got another question.
Now, what is it?
It's from Martin Zietsman.
Zietzman, that was last week's
Yes.
guest.
You're telling me the chap who brought that in?
Yeah, the significant friend who brought in the chain tamer.
And he said, Alan, do you work on periodised programmes?
Yes, so periodised programs is essentially splitting the year or longer up into various chunks and working on different things at different points in the year. And yeah, I do. So essentially, before I make someone powerful, I try and make them strong. Before I do a lot of intervals for someone, I try and make them aerobically fitter so they can actually deal with the workload. So yeah.
And Martin is, I guess you didn't see it last week, he's our South African mate. He's a very good rider, big 6'5", coming back from an injury, but he takes his training very seriously. Martin, this is your man to contact for when you're back on the training, which I know he will be very soon.
Yeah, get in touch, happy to help.
So, where have you been this year? Where have you been that's been exciting? Who have you been with?
Where have I been? I had a good pre-season trip to Portugal. That was brilliant. Fox testing. Really good sort of combined training camp with suspension testing. It was at Lords.
Loads of people go out to that, don't they? That.
Yeah,
All
it was
the Fox
really good.
riders,
It was
is that
really
right?
good. Like in our hotel, like Danny was in our hotel. Greg Williamson was in our hotel. A couple of teams had just gone, and I think Tane and her crew were coming later, and the Athertons all arrived as we were there. There's loads of people there. Athertons, you heard of them? They're a little sort of family unit.
Oh,
team.
right,
Yeah.
I think one of them's just been on GMBN and been interviewed. One of the ones, I think, because his name rhymes with the first letter of that channel.
Oh, does
He
it?
must have gone on there
Up
instead
and
of coming
comer.
on this one.
Up and comer.
Yeah, I don't know, some loser. But yeah. So anyone else out there?
A lot of basically all the Fox boys were out there, and then it was pretty soon off to Lords for the first round, then to Fort William, and then haven't been to a couple of them due to like motocross side of things.
Yeah.
The problem is if I end up going to every event, like I won't have a wife and daughter to come home to. That's the problem.
How does the wife fare with your job?
She's awesome. Yeah, my wife's
Does
amazing.
she train?
She
into fitness?
She's quite into yoga. She's really
Yeah.
good at yoga. Yeah, she used to do a lot of running. She's faster than me when we have a little sprint. She's good at throwing things and genuinely
At
makes
you
a
when
mock.
you're annoyed.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
I'll come home and say I've been doing this like a balanced movement. If I'm rehabbing someone, I should do it really well. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling to do it, but she's really good. I think with my wife, if she knows what's happening, she's awesome. If I drop something on her and she's not ready for it, we've got a 3-year-old daughter, so no one really wants to go,
Yeah.
I've got stress for the next 3 days because you decided to do this. But I've learned I was useless before. I just used to do what I wanted.
One thing I did notice at Fort William, 'cause obviously we bumped into each other a lot up there,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
were up and down the track doing bits and pieces, is you are very hands-on, aren't you? Because you were doing,
It was with Joe's warm up.
who was it you were doing? You were putting all your own split timers and stuff out. Were you? Was it split timers?
Yeah, we were doing. We were trying to basically get a feel for where we could push and some lines we could take on the course. The problem was that we had some split timers out, and we had in theory it was brilliant, but there was a few too many different watches and split timers out there, which confused the whole thing. So the splits weren't accurate. I'm up the track basically trying to help them go faster.
That seems more involvement than just fitness coaching.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
that's,
definitely.
That's almost like
Yeah.
sort of team management in a way.
Well, my job is to try and help them win races.
Yeah.
And that might be in the gym, or it might be on a road bike, or it might be on a mountain bike, or it might be following them, doing some. Like I did an interval session with Brendan, and we were met by this guy who he knew on the lanes, and he was just like, we were both dying in the ditch, but that was the way I was going to get the most out of Brendan in that session, as opposed to standing there, or I could even do it on a motorbike pacing him, couldn't I? But I don't think you get the most out of them. And the same on the bike, like filming sections and trying to help them get better, really.
Good question for you, Todd. Above the one we've just asked, really. Something that you've been getting out a lot doing.
Riding.
Yeah. Going to ask it?
Have you been riding?
I have been riding. I do quite a lot. I do quite a lot of mountain biking, midweek and evening ride with my mate Luke, and mostly at the weekends I'll be out one of the days, and I do a lot of stuff on a road bike as well.
Yeah.
Like last week I was out on my road bike all week because we were away, and every evening I'll be out on that for 90 minutes. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been.
And the mountain bike, what do you ride?
I've got a Scott Genius. I've got a lovely Scott Genius with Fox all over it. Fox
I'm guessing that was through Brendan.
Yeah, like a Brendan Fairclough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Pulled a few strings for you there.
A few strings, yeah, lovely, really nice bike.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the Fox X2 I've got on there.
Yeah.
What a difference that makes.
I know. I'm getting
Unbelievable.
the DPX2 is coming for this bike at the end of the month, which is the new shot from Fox. It's trunnion mount like that, and it's a cross between the X2 downhill shock and the original air shock that they had.
Oh, nice.
That won't come to my mind right now what it's called, the model. No, it's gone. There you go. But that one anyway, it's a cross between the two, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. And something else that I'm impressed by, bit of a tangent, I'm trying out this one component, it's like integral tool that sits in the steer tube. Have you seen them before?
I've seen a few of these.
Unbelievable.
Specialised a big on
Specialised,
this kind of
just
thing.
released
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And so you have to thread the fork. And I
Yeah.
was a bit worried about doing that, but you can. I spoke to Will at
You put
Mojo.
thread inside the fork,
in the
do you?
fork. And he said, no, don't worry, it's fine. You get a threading tool and you literally thread the inside of it, and then you put in this
Wow.
head cap that's hollow, and then it just sits in there. And you can,
Yeah.
I was well impressed with it.
Can't run that on that because I'm about to put the Di2 bars on it. Basically, Shimano Pro Tharsis.
Yeah.
They have the carbon bar and stem,
Yeah.
but it's for Di2 specially. So the battery sits inside. It screws into
Really?
the stem and it goes into the steerer. It's really posh. Because
Trick.
I've botched it a bit. I've drilled into the top
Oh,
cap
that's
and
okay, though.
stuffed it in.
Have you ever run out of battery while you've been out on the bike and it
Never.
shifts? Does it shift
Never.
all the way into the bottom gear?
Yeah, but it's top one. I think I'm not sure. It lasts. That Di2. If you don't, I'll ride a lot.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't charge it, it'll last me 3 months. It's ridiculous how long it
Yeah,
lasts.
that's good. Really good.
So yeah, I mean we went off topic a little bit there. Not that it matters.
Sorry.
What about the off season? I guess there is no such thing as an off season for you, is there?
I desperately try and have some time to myself in October.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and keep October for myself. Never works.
No.
Because you're always trying to plan for next year, whether it's changing teams or athletes or like the way things are working or location or all the planning sort of
I
happens.
suppose Christmas is your next.
Yeah, but the
time
problem
off.
is that I'm absolutely flat out till like December is the busiest, one of the busiest times because everyone's getting up and running and we're doing a load of fitness testing and I might be doing travelling to see people, but I do try and take some time off. I try and go away on my motorbike for a bit and just
Okay. Yeah. Any comments, Todd?
Not really any questions.
Just people saying hi.
Yeah, and a few people saying that Stu looks a bit younger.
Yeah, a lot younger.
Have you seen the one off Ben Lee's?
Well, while you look for that, Todd, it's 8 o'clock, which means it's time for the Trailhead Photo of the Week.
Pick of the week. And this is...
Let's have a look, Todd.
It's a pinned hat. It should come up any second now, but this has been sent in by my brother.
Oh, is it?
Of a nice little dog.
Which brother? You got about 10 of them.
Oh yeah, it's Phil. Well, yeah.
Right.
And it's our pinned hat being rocked by a very daft looking dog.
We have some. That's cool. Brilliant. We got some plans for pinned hats, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
We'll be talking about that in a bit. So, moving on. I think finally, on the main interview, have you got any new athletes lined up, or can you not talk about that?
I have got some new athletes lined up.
High profile?
Yeah.
Very high profile?
I can't talk about that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Male or female?
Male.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this time of year, there's like team changes and what have you, and a few people contact me because of team changes, and it's early days. Yeah.
Has Manon left a gap in your books, did you say? I was wondering how to word that without it sounding terrible.
I'd never look at it being a gap in my books. Manon's Manon.
Surely you must have allotted a certain amount of time to her every
Yeah,
week,
for
though.
sure. I've had some very interesting conversations about somebody, a female athlete that I may be working with, but again,
Yeah.
it's probably a bit early to talk about that.
Okay.
Next time.
So, the next part of the interview, Todd, what is it? Can you remember? You don't have to remember. You see it.
5 questions.
Yeah. Do you want to start it off?
Yep. Pump track or dirt jumps?
Dirt jumps when I was a teenager, pump track now.
Hard pack or dirt?
Or dirt.
Downhill or enduro?
As long as it's in the Alps, don't mind.
Flat out and scary or techie and tight?
No, techie and tight every day of the week. Yeah, I love that.
Racing or riding with your mates?
I spend a lot of my working life racing, so riding with my mates.
29 or 27.5?
27.5. I've never really ridden a 29er in anger.
Oh, you need to try the
Yeah.
new modern ones.
Yeah,
you need
exactly.
to try them.
Yeah.
Like this behind us.
Hip hop or rock?
Hip hop.
Good lad. Most people say rock. I'm a big
Really?
hip hop fan.
My wife
Yeah.
always takes the mick because she's like, I'm too middle class to like hip hop.
Yeah. I'm a massive fan of all the early 90s stuff.
Oh, I love it all, yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Tea in the morning, coffee in the afternoon.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, always tea
Well,
first
this is the
thing.
thing now. They were saying a week or so ago, weren't they, all these doctors now, it's always something that you got to do.
Oh, don't start.
Yeah.
Have you been reading Daily Mail?
No, I just saw it on Sky News saying you should have 3 coffees a day now and it'll stop you having a heart attack and all that sort
But
of.
then you could be drinking 3 glasses of wine.
Doesn't it
stuff
help
like
you have a
that.
heart attack? It speeds your heart up, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I think these things, the problem is that there's like an ounce of truth within something,
Yeah.
and sometimes what they do is they take the population and they just ask the population to tell them one part of their lifestyle,
Yeah.
and then you've got basically say the wine drinkers and the non-wine drinkers, but it doesn't actually state anything else they do in their day-to-day life,
Yeah.
anything else they eat, whether they exercise. So
Right.
it doesn't mean anything, unfortunately. Makes a good headline.
Yeah. Dogs or cats?
I've got 2 ginger cats, love them to bits.
Tom?
Fight or mediate?
I've been in a few fights in my time and I've mediated on a few occasions.
Yeah.
I'm not a fighter, only if I'm backed into a corner.
Yeah.
Don't back me into a corner. But
I won't.
I
No
don't
worries.
want to fight. I'm not a fighter.
Burger or healthy? That's the last one.
Burger. I'm always healthy.
I thought you were
Yeah.
mega healthy.
I'm always healthy.
Yeah,
There's
you
nothing
are.
wrong with your burger.
Yeah. What are we on now? We're on.
Very good.
I think we've got about 5 minutes, something like that, until we do our used and abused review.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
a couple of things I'd like to talk about that have just come up while discussing that I think a lot of people want to know about. We did touch on it last time, but
Yeah.
I think the thing that a lot of people, when they're riding bikes, whether they're racing or whether they're out for the day, that they don't know about is nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
What you should have in your drink. Do you have carbs in it? Do you have protein?
Yeah.
How often do you take your caffeine shots? Do you take caffeine? There's gels, they say you should have them every hour, so it costs you about 20 quid to go out for a long day. So what's your advice on all that lot? Let's start with the drink first.
Okay, so you were chatting about going to Landegla the other weekend. How long does it take you to get around Landegla? Or how long would a
I'm
lap be?
riding with my lads.
Okay.
So, a while.
A while, but on your own, about an hour-ish? It's
Yeah.
quite a short lap, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my problem is if people are exercising for under 90 minutes, you don't need any carbohydrate, caffeine, shots, just have water, you're absolutely fine with water. If you're riding over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, then yeah, you're going to need the fuel to sustain you. So when I go around Landegla and I see all these like wrappers on the floor from carb gels, it does my head in.
Infuriating, yeah.
Which you don't need them. So you've gone out to get healthier and maybe lose some weight or have fun or all three, and you're taking in 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
No, waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a real problem for me. And then the flip side comes when you're doing a multi-day event.
Yeah.
Or a long event throughout the course of the day, and you're only worried about your top performance. I think about your body as basically being a bath that you're trying to keep full. And when you're exercising, imagine the plugs come out of the bath. So obviously the exercise is draining you down. You've got to keep it topped up. So take in whatever you need to keep yourself topped up. I'm reading one of Guy Martin's books at the moment, and he's doing the Tour Divide, which is basically from Canada all the way down to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And he's just eating whatever he can get his hands on, the most carbohydrate dense food.
Yeah.
And that's ideal because he wants to keep that bath in this analogy topped up. But if you're exercising for health and you're not exercising regularly, I hate to say it, you just need plain water.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine with that.
So, I mean, for instance, Todd comes riding with me a lot.
Yeah.
And being a young lad, I think it's more important. I can cope if I haven't eaten and I start to get tired. I can ride through it mentally.
Yeah.
If I take him riding, he hasn't had enough, he's gone. After an hour, he can't do anything else, and he has to eat. And then, he's better if he performs on a proper meal.
Yeah, definitely.
But a few times, if he's tired, and I see him flag, he goes all quiet. He never complains, but he goes all quiet, and I'll be like, "You're alright," and he can hear him just occasionally go, and I'll give him a small amount of one of my caffeine shots, and I was a bit worried the first time. I thought, is this right? Should I be doing this? He's young. And next thing, he's like talking my ear off for an hour, and he loved it. And I was a bit, it's one of those things you think, well, I don't know if I should be doing this, but it worked.
Oh, well, caffeine does. Caffeine's it's not an adult only thing. I think the problem is when you start talking about caffeine, people think Red Bull, Monster, strong coffees, and that's something that you want to limit. But basically, caffeine can bypass the fatigue that you're suffering from.
Yeah.
So it pretty much can bypass all of that, and that's where you get that instant sort of perk up.
Right.
But caffeine's really useful. I'd say in your second or third hour, absolutely brilliant.
Okay. And say you're out for a big long day on the bike, and if you were to say, right, I've got this drink has got protein in it, or this drink has got carbohydrates in it, what would you choose then?
Protein is to sort of refuel and recover.
Yeah.
And carbohydrate is basically the fuel you're putting in your tank.
Keep you going.
Yeah. So don't worry about, although you can take in foods with protein and carbohydrate, I would still save that to afterwards.
Right, okay. So we're on 10 past, which means it's time for our used and abused product review. Doc should be playing, hopefully about to play. If we can have a look there, Todd. This is a video, very shaky video I took today of the Highline 160mm dropper from Crank Brothers. This is their latest version. They've done a few in the past. This was originally 125mm, it's now 160mm. It's on the bike, that's why I haven't got it in my hands. I've been running this for about 3 months, so I'll give you some details on this. It comes in 31.6 and 30.9. Internal routing, it's mechanical, not air. Like I say, it's got the two different side lengths, 610 grams, that's with the cables and the remote, so it's light. Full swivel spherical remote, so that remote can move that way and that way. It's brilliant like that. Sealed hydraulic cartridge, so that's the top bit is really easy to remove out of the frame if you want to service it. They do a video online for servicing. 3-year warranty, really long service intervals, which is great. The open end of the cable is on the remote and not on the dropper, so it's easy to fit. Well, it's easy to fit when it comes to that bit. Also, they're using top branded seals and cables, real reputable companies for that. And where it attaches to your saddle is double bolt, unlike the Shimano that's single bolt. It comes in at $299.99 for that 160mm version. So, what are the likes, what are the dislikes? Well, my likes are 3-year warranty, which, you know, Crank Brothers didn't have the best of reputations in the old days for reliability, and they seem to have nailed that now. It's very easy to remove. The open end of the cable makes it easy for fitting. It looks nice. The price is good, the weight is good, the service intervals and the maintenance is fantastic, and the vid's good, and it's still working great. I've had it about 3 months and it's literally no different. What I don't like, and this is, I'd say, only being picky, so it's not many things, it was a little bit tricky to fit where you screw it on underneath, where you screw the cable into the main shaft. If it's like got one bit that meets another bit, if you got that lined up, it actually didn't work exactly how it should be, and it was creeping up and down, so I had to swivel it a bit after they told me. That fixed that problem. And oh, hello, bit of acrobatics in the background. And then the other thing was, it doesn't quite feel as positive on the remote as I'd say a Fox does, but they are tiny discrepancies, and I'll give it a 9 out of 10. There you go. That's a really good score.
And it's infinite adjustment.
It's infinite adjustment. I think they all are now, unless you get really cheap ones. So yeah.
The old Fox one was not infinite adjustment.
No, the new one is though.
The new one is. I have the new one. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll just read out some of the comments.
Okay.
So we've got from Ben Rees, MTV. Who is your favourite athlete to work with, Alan?
Good question.
That's a really good question, actually. I'd say I really enjoy different athletes for different reasons. So I like working with Joe Barnes because he's really analytical, which you might not think. So that's really interesting, and he'll debate things. I love coaching Afi in the gym because he was an absolute monster, and he gave it everything he had, and that was really that was a great. I just like the atmosphere that we're able to create in there. And in terms of like from a junior point of view, when you're working with a young guy like Joe Breeden, and you see them wanting to learn and picking stuff up and actually putting it into practice.
He's in fair shape, isn't he? Bloody hell, he's a beast.
He's shredded now. And I'm lucky. I love my job. I get to work with a lot of nice people.
Didn't Joe Breeden remind you of Joe Wotton? They could be split at birth, wouldn't they? I call Joe Breeden Mini Joe.
I know.
It's so similar.
Yeah, definitely. Similar personality.
Any others?
We've got some embarrassing ones about me from Tom Hinton.
Say it, go on.
Todd, you must have at least 4 girlfriends looking that cool. And then
Hey.
Adam NX2MTB has put his t-shirt says nope. And then Tom Hinton's replied, Todd, is that shirt used to get all the ugly girls away from you? Looking pimp as usual.
Brilliant.
And 928 Dave H has said, is water with sugar added any good as energy drink?
I've seen these homemade, I've seen it on YouTube, homemade energy drinks.
Yeah, you. So I used to. If people are away, one of the ways that I tell them to do it is to take 1/3 orange juice,
Yeah,
like proper orange juice, 2/3 water, pinch of salt.
yeah, the salt's to stop the cramp, isn't it? Is that right?
Oh, that's a debate. We could debate that for a long
Oh.
time. You want to take in the potassium, so the sodium chloride, and there's various other electrolytes that you want to take in. But that's quite a basic, good way, and it actually tastes really nice as well. The pinch of salt, strangely, when you're thirsty, tastes better.
Yeah, that, I've got to mention cramp, we've got to talk cramp.
Okay.
Because
Talk crap.
I've been on so many rides with mates who've got cramp issues,
Yeah.
and they're like doubled over in pain, having to stop this, that and the other. I've never had it on a bike. I've never had cramp on a bike. Occasionally when I race motorbikes on the enduros, I get it, funnily enough, in my toes.
Yeah,
Curl
that
over.
doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
But I've had it after real big long days or long weekends where I'll get it I'll be asleep and I'll get it at like midnight. All of a sudden in the back of my leg,
Yeah.
and I'm like virtually kicking the wife out of bed and I'm rolling around on the floor. I'm almost in tears, it hurts so much. But why is that? Why is it getting me then and getting my mates in the middle of the day, and how can you stop it?
So cramp is often caused by being in a position where the muscle is under some form of contraction for a long period of time.
Yeah,
So if you are, like you were saying on the motorbike, you're standing up and your toes are almost gripping, so
Yeah.
your muscle is in a form of contraction, so there's a lot of stimulus to that muscle, and it can essentially spasm when it's there for too long. So if you're on a long ride, you can imagine if your saddle height's not great, or you're in a bent over position, or you're in a position where your body's having to work quite hard to stabilize that,
yeah,
that's when things like cramp occur. Dehydration has been shown to almost promote the
Mhm.
cramping, and this imbalance in electrolytes has been shown or disproven. There's debate whether that's actually
I've
causing
heard
it.
some weird things about what you could eat and drink to stop. I've heard
Yeah.
someone saying it was gherkins, I think they said.
Uh,
Things like that. Is there
yeah.
any truth in any of that?
Not that I know of, in all
No.
honesty, because it's essentially that the muscle is in a contraction for a long period of time. There's a lot of electrical impulses going through it, and that's causing it.
Worse in winter as well, when you stop and it's freezing cold and the muscle.
No, because you've been exercising. If you've been exercising, your muscle's really quite warm.
Right,
So
okay.
that's just a bit of a misnomer. Funnily enough, the last time I suffered from cramp was in one of the pedal hounds enduros that I did, and it was only like a 2-minute stage, but it was absolutely flat out the saddle, pedaling as hard as you could,
yeah.
and I could just feel my legs starting to fill
I
up.
didn't
On
know
the
you'd
first
done an
one.
enduro.
I was in it. It was at the end last season, yeah. And the first lap was great. Second lap, I was getting more and more tired, and I just knew I was like,
Yeah.
if I'm willing to go flat out, I'm going to suffer. And I did the stage. I did all right actually, but afterwards I was struggling.
Yeah. So, Todd, what's gone on this weekend?
Right, so Manon's retired, and obviously we've already spoken about that.
Yeah.
And we've had the end of the BDS, Langhoffen.
Second to last one,
Yeah.
isn't it? Second to last one. How do you feel about that? Si, Peyton, hanging his boots up.
I think he's done a good job.
Yeah.
I think he's done a really good job. I think he works really hard at it. I think he's on the weekend. He takes it very seriously. He wants to do the best for the riders. I think he's always going to have battles with the same problems because we're in the UK and you've got to ship 250 people or whatever up a hill, and you've got everything that goes along with it. I really hope that whoever takes it on pushes it forward.
Mm.
Because So the juniors this weekend set the fastest race times, and I know there was rain involved, but from what I understand, I think Brayton set the fastest time of the day, and then the next 2 or 3 times were juniors.
Yeah.
And that's, from my point of view, I even shared something on Facebook earlier about, I really hope that these juniors and these youth riders have a national series to cut their teeth on.
Yeah.
Because back in the day when you and I were growing up racing, that was Jason's Welsh Dragons series.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And then you went to the World Cups. You know, if we don't have a good series, or we don't have a series that people want to ride, I'm not sure about opening up downhill races to single crown forks and enduro bike. I'm not really.
I don't agree with that.
No,
I think that was a last ditch attempt.
Yeah, I was trying to get some numbers up. I can understand that.
But the way I see that is, okay, you've got these single crown fork guys like myself who go, oh, I'll have a go at that. But if you then wanted to take it serious, you could virtually get a downhill bike and just put the beefiest single crown forks on with 180 mil of travel, which is basically a downhill bike anyway, because you're uplifted, and it's a bit like, well, where does it stop? What rules do you start bringing in for that?
But then also, the problem is, I think it's attracting. I don't think I deserve to be on the same track as G or Brayton or Simmons or those guys if I'm turning up on my single crown bike just so I can go racing. Hey, I'm gonna, I think you need to qualify for it. I think it's a national series. I think you're going to start to mix some very slow people with some very fast people, and that's no good.
But like you said about back in the day with the Dragon downhills, could it be like that where all we need is a series that's not the best? I mean, the organisation of them was terrible, you've got to admit. Back in the day, I mean,
good old Jace.
Jace would happily admit that. Back in the day,
but Jace was doing it so he could ride those.
Yeah,
tracks.
exactly.
He was like, I'm being selfish enough to say that I'm doing this for me. Come and join my fun, and we did.
But that was gnarliest of tracks.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Remember the first one you went to, you were like, oh my god, what is this? These tracks, because we've been used to NPS and all these flat tracks. But so what I'm saying is, now, could someone just say, right, I'm going to do a series with the gnarliest of tracks. It's not going to be like really elitist like the BDS. And almost the same with UKGE as well. Like, you've got the same thing with that. Is that going to be same as it was, or is that going to go to really gnarly tracks? But then, are you going to get the entries? I think Enduro needs higher entrants.
I think that I really like the idea of going to the track is where you go to race. That's what I love. Some of these guys, the only reason they race is because they want to win. We've got to remember that ultimately, if I was with a World Cup downhill racer and I said I'll race you to the car, he bloody want to beat me to the car. You know what I mean? That's what he wants to do, is he wants to win. So if he's not racing bikes, he's racing something else. But then there's those of us who love riding our bikes. I don't want to ride a flat track or a boring track or a Sam's track from back in the day. I was like, this is rubbish.
I was banned from them. I got banned from the Sam's tracks, because I cut my number board down like we all used to back in the day, and the bloke went mental with me, and I didn't take it lying down, and then I got barred from them all.
You weren't missing too much though, were you?
No.
Too much.
What do we call the Sams? I can't remember now. There was a special name. Probably best not repeat it. So, just to mention out there, before we do our competition, if you go onto our YouTube channel, which hopefully you are subscribed for or to, we got a couple of videos. We got a review of our Ergo Solus Go Outdoors tent, which is massive and ace, and we got the latest edit from Ardrock, and we've got Darcy's edit from Ardrock as well. But we need to do this, this competition. So we're giving away, we're getting a bit low on these prizes, to be honest. Not saying this is a crap prize, I'll be really offended. It's this is from when the boys from White came. We got a white race top, white bikes, that is. What I want to know, and this is very based on you, you can ask that one actually.
What's the biggest muscle in the body?
Yeah, and it's got to be the Latin name. So good luck with that. Get yourselves on Google. First, Todd, are you checking it out?
Yeah.
Keep an eye out.
There's a delay though, so
yeah, there's a delay, so that should come up in a minute. And then once that is sorted, we are going to talk about our new plans for the show.
It all sounds exciting.
Yes, things are massively going to change with this show, but not until someone has won that.
So it's first entry.
First person to come up with that Latin name of the biggest muscle in the human body. So shall I leave that with you, Todd, while we talk about the show?
You scream out.
So,
Right, so have you got them coming in, Todd?
Yeah.
he's keeping an eye on them. Anything else?
This was the first one with a...
Do you know it, Doc?
No.
Okay.
Adam NX2MTB has got it with gluteus maximus.
That's it, well done. And Adam won last week as well, fair play, mate. So, yeah, I'll wait till you come and visit us again and make you come and visit us. Right, next week we have on little Lewis from, I think it's next week, anyway, it's the first, is next week the first? 28th, so the week afterwards, sorry, we have Lewis coming on, Lewis Bradley from the Welsh Gravity Enduro, and he's going to be giving away, interviewed, talking before Easter's race, and he'll be giving away an entry for that race. After that, we are then going monthly. We are not going to be going weekly. We've had a big discussion about this, and we want to offer quality, not quantity. We want to be doing it monthly. It'll free up sort of time for us to do some different edits, some how-tos, product reviews, and we're going to totally change up our format. We're going to mix it up a bit. We maybe by the bar over there, think TFI Fridays back in the day. This is how we want it to be. Folks who are in here tonight, we want to get them more involved and get them coming up to the bar. You'll see them coming up and get them in, chatting about what they've been doing, chatting about what we're chatting about. And any ideas, we are welcome to hear those, because we do want to give you what you want. Obviously once a month as well, we'll always have a guest, so watch this space, you know.
Sounds good.
So we'll have Lewis on, and then a month's wait till the next one.
Lewis has also said he's going to be giving away 2 prizes from Treads Bikes as well.
Wow, fair play, so that'll be worth coming.
Generous stuff.
I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
Done alright, haven't we?
Enjoyed yourself?
I've enjoyed myself.
Hey, we've got
Yeah.
some stuff there.
Hey?
I've still got some
Got
bits there.
something else there.
What have we got left, Todd?
The UKG is coming back next year. But
Yes.
will it be a success or not?
Yeah, do you know much about the enduro side of things?
From a UK standpoint, not so much.
Okay, well,
So EWS wise, yes, but
It's-
UK.
obviously Cy Payton had a go at British Enduro last year. He did an amazing job, but he just didn't get the punters because it went like too elite, too
Yeah.
structured. Didn't get sort of enough money in, basically. It was working off the back of the BDS. So he jacked it in, and this year there hasn't been really
Right,
sort of a
okay.
national level enduro. Before that was UKG, which I think started in 2011 and went till the year before that, which was, what was that, 20?
Yeah, they were that was
15?
the original.
Yeah, Steve Parr.
Yeah.
Very popular back in the day. The question I'm asking is it going to be as popular again? And does the UK enduro riding racing public want that sort of thing? I'm not sure myself, and I don't mean this as a negative, but what I do see is that when you look at the success of things like Hard Rock and you know, with like the Mulvans, the size doing,
Yeah.
you just know that stuff sells out immediately. DMRX, I'm doing that in a few weeks. That sold out in minutes.
Wow.
And I think that's what people want. They just want this more festival-y, fun type feel. I don't want to be told you've got to go up the hill at this time, that time, that time. You've got to ride with them lot, not your mates who you've turned up with.
Well, yeah, I
because
think
Enduro's meant to replicate a day out with your mates, just been time down the hills, isn't it?
well, Paul Hunt is running a series, a Pedal Hounds Enduro series.
I know.
He's
Going to the
doing
last one, we'll say.
He's got a really good format
Yeah.
because you turn up, you put your number boards on with your chip, and you basically ride with your mates.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a trial. So
Yeah.
it was based. If you've ever ridden a motorcycle trial, you've got your sections and you do X
Yeah.
number of laps. You can either do them flat out and then go home. You can take your time. You go back to the van after each section. You can do what you want.
That's
And
brilliant.
he's got. It's an absolutely brilliant format because you can ride with your buddies. You can set off whenever you want. So one of my mates literally sat behind me for the entire first lap, and our times were almost identical. The bugger.
Yeah.
So I was like, "You're not doing that again."
Yeah, we did that at
Yeah,
Hard Rock.
it's
similar
really
sort of
interesting
thing,
to like
following each other.
to see. But we had such a good day, and then it's always good to then compare times, and there is that competitive element we've all got. But like you say, if I've turned up with 3 mates, I don't want to have a completely different number board. Oh,
Yeah,
see you later,
yeah.
mate. I'll see you in 4
Well,
hours.
the thing that UKGE and BES have always said about that is it needs to be structured because you'll get queues and you'll get people holding you up, this, that and the other. Well, what I say about that is Hard Rock had 4,000 people on racing.
Wow.
I mean, not all at the same time,
Yeah.
but there was like, I don't know, 500 in each race or something like that. And we did the main event with 500 people in. And when you entered, it said, how good are you, 1 to 10? And you put that, what time do you want to go off? So you say we were 7:30 with our mates, and you say your mates and your group name and all that sort of thing. And then when you're going down, you know your order when you're with your mates, don't you? The fastest one goes first, next fastest follows him.
Yeah.
You either leave a gap
Yeah.
or follow each other. And in that race with 500 odd people or whatever it was, I think it might have been 800. We never got held up.
Yeah.
I know we were the earliest groups, we probably had less chance of it, but we put the right thing when we entered. So that just proves it can work without.
And you
this
can set people off on
structure.
different stages. I mean, again, just like a motorcycle trial, some people start from stage 1 or section 1, and some from halfway around.
Yeah, exactly.
It isn't. As long as you set it up right. I think the only disadvantage to that is if you are one of these guys who wants to be racing with Mark Scott and Joe Barnes and James Shirley and Ludo and all the the enduro boys, are you being prepared for that?
Yeah.
And if you're not, you're going to have to go to an EWS to prepare for EWS.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, and that is the other side of the argument.
Yeah.
You need something that steps you up to EWS,
Yeah.
but then you think, well, if you want to do EWS, go and do them.
Well, that's
You
it. 'cause
can
it's
do
open,
them.
exactly.
You don't need that step
Yeah,
up.
You don't. I
You
don't
just
think you
get
need,
on them.
I agree. I'm
Yeah.
all for it, and I think that you get numbers. I'd say enduro is a sport where the companies sell the bikes the most.
Yeah, exactly.
We all love these. These are all like downhill bikes, but you can go up
Yeah.
hills on them. They're absolutely brilliant.
I think we've covered everything. We've got to the end of our time.
Pub question.
Pub question. We've got no product for the pub question tonight, Todd, I'm afraid. Thanks for that, though. We're meant to remember that.
What's written on Benjamin Button's hat?
V.
V.
V
Is that one
rubber.
of the channel sponsors?
Yeah, it is one of the channel sponsors. Yeah. So, I want to just give away not give away, I've got giveaway on the brain now we've got nothing in here to give away to the locals. Our Instagram name, so Jim Buchanan 955.
I'm at Alan Milway.
I'm at Top Buchanan 955.
And I'm at Dockerpod.
And thank you very much for joining us. Next week, maybe Stu will be back with his new sharpened teeth, maybe not, hopefully he will. And thanks for everyone in here coming to see us, and I shall see you next week. See you later.
Cheers.
Do you want to just reel through the product sponsors, Jim, and I'll on the end screen?
Yeah, okay. We have the product sponsors are, Todd, you ready? Trailhead,
Mud Hugger,
Bum Butter,
V-Tire,
Invisiframe,
the Mountain Bike Adventure Portugal,
Sax Underwear,
Mock Off.
and Muck Off, yeah. That's it. Thanks a lot.
Well done, guys.
Good job.